I bought a property in Egypt, and what they do for you is that they give you the property. Ayo, chill the fuck, bro. Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to be doing my first album review of the year of 2025, and it's going to be a mini albums review where I review multiple albums at once. Now, the thing is, I don't have time to review anything anymore, by the way. YouTube is, at this point, I don't really have a lot of time for YouTube because I have a life now, which is something that I've been saying for years already. And it's more and more so the case. So from here on out, I'm going to be doing more mini albums review videos than actual full-length album reviews. Unfortunately, that is the case. And again, I've been saying this for years. I've been teasing towards this change for many years, but yes, that change is indeed happening. Another thing is, today I painfully pulled some time out of my schedule to film this video. I shouldn't be doing this right now. It's 9:30 p.m. and I haven't even had dinner, but I'm doing this because why not? So anyways, I am going to be talking about a bunch of albums in quick, rapid succession. The first one being one of the most anticipated releases of the first quarter of 2025, which is the new FKA Twigs album, Eusexua. Sex? What is that? What is that? So, British singer, songwriter, producer, legendary artist FKA Twigs is back with a new album. She is one of the most interesting and influential artists of the last 10 years, and everyone has been anticipating this new album from FKA Twigs. A few years ago, she released Magdalena, which I liked a lot. It is a perfect blend of alternative R&B and artsy experimentation, which is totally my thing. 3 years ago, she released the mixtape Capri Songs, or Capra Songs, which is a little bit too poppy for my liking, but I'm glad FKA Twigs is going back to the strange alien territory that she always goes back in. Now we have the album Eusexua, and right off the bat, we are already confirmed to be in interesting musical territory. We have the title track, the intro, the opener, and it is a fantastic opening to the album. It is neither bombastic nor subtle. It sounds like an FKA Twigs deep cut plucked out of some random album and placed in the very beginning of this album. It is a very interesting opening track where we have these speedy pumping dance beats and FKA Twigs sings in this euphoric falsetto vocals, sort of softly gliding on top of the electronic beats. It sounds absolutely amazing. We have lyrics on neediness, lust, love, which I'm not huge on, but later in the album, FKA Twigs would use pretty interesting language to describe these feelings. So yeah, very interesting album opener. I really appreciate it if an artist or a band start off their album neither in a crazy explosive way or in an extremely quiet way. Just somewhere in the middle would be an interesting take. Now, of course, with Eusexua, we also have the single Drums of Death, which is probably my favorite on the entire album. It's a glitchy, crazy banger, very industrial, very harsh. We have FKA Twigs singing, "I know you're busy working, but can we meet up later? Do you want to call me up?" Which is something I never hear someone say to me because I am a lonely person. Despite having friends, I'm still lonely somehow. I don't know how that shit works anyways. But yeah, throughout the album we have lots of electronic musical variations, house, EDM, glitch, club, and the whole affair is very moody and electronic. We have the second track, Girl Feels Good, which is a 90s flavored trip hop kind of pop song. It feels like an interesting melding between Aphex Twins and like the Matrix soundtrack. Then we have tracks like Room of Fools and Keep It Hold It, which are two amazing tracks with chaotic house beats, it's sensual, it's weird, and the former of the two has these Björkish vocals that really liven up the album. The track Striptease is a bit of an emotional driven moment in the album. It's warped and has these sunburned keyboards, bassy 808s, trap beats. It's very intimate, it's very seductive, yet at the same time there's something genuinely broken about it, with lyrics like "my sternum stretched wide, opening me." It almost borders on body horror. Or maybe it's just me, maybe I see bodies and I think horror. Or maybe you think differently, and that's okay, because either way, it's beautiful. Now, aside from those things, we have some weird, questionable moments on the album, like Childlike Things, which is one of the biggest what the fuck moments on the entire album. It is an EDM summer dance banger with these fake Asian flavored chords, which is lame as hell. And this track, for some reason, features Northwest, Kanye West's daughter, Northwest. And not only that, but she sings in full-on Japanese with lyrics about how she's the king of California or something like that. Very weird. It's a fun song, but it sticks out like a sore thumb. Sticky is a more intimate moment, it's more stripped back, it's kind of forgettable, and the album ending 24 Hour Dog and Wanderlust are pretty okay endings, they just don't really hit me that hard. So yeah, overall, it's a pretty good album, but would I say it's amazing and mind-blowing? Not really. I am giving this one a decent 7 out of 10. Following that, we have the new AsianGlow album, 1110011. And yeah, this is the new album from Shin Kyung-won, aka AsianGlow, one of the most promising, young, up-and-coming, and they are a year older than me, but I will still call them young, up-and-coming Korean songwriter, musical artist, shoegaze, rock, you name it. I just realized that if they're 23 years old now, this means that when they started making music, they're like 20. Like, I'm 22 now. What the fuck am I doing with my life? Okay, anyways, AsianGlow, promising artists, new album. This album is much more lo-fi and rock heavy than their last project, which is Stalled Flutes Means, which I really liked. And this album has more pummeling drums, emotional guitars, it's chaotic, it's wild, it's abrasive, and once again, it is very emotional, and I really like it. We have the track Feel All the Time, which has more of an electronic edge to it, kind of reminds me of Depeche Mode by how iciness it is. I like the track Out of Time with its changing keys, sound effects, and muffled layered vocals. The title track is amazing. I love the odd rhythm. It's in 6/8 time signature, but for some reason the alternating drum hits just makes it feel kind of odd, and the acoustic guitars make this feel very chaotic and bittersweet and emotional. It's just a clash of emotions. The track Jit Nun Kebi, Winter Song, is a 7-minute track that might be too long for its own good, but the album ending Dorothy Thines include breakcore and chiptune, which adds such a warm and aggressive contrast to the rest of the track list, but it still somehow works for AsianGlow. So yeah, pretty interesting album, very interesting textures here and there. Not necessarily the most versatile or interesting thing ever, but still a solid one from AsianGlow. Yeah. Light 8 out of 10. I need a haircut. Third album I'm going to be talking about is the new ShinseiKamattechan album, Danchi Thesis. This is a new album from Japanese rock band ShinseiKamattechan, and it is 1 hour and 5 minutes of abrasive Japanese pop rock music. Of course, the track list includes Boku no Senso, or My War, which is a single release 4 years ago, and it is still amazing. It is still an amazing OP to an amazing anime, and it very much evokes children folk choir dark fantasy, and it's destructive, it's scary, it's harrowing. And part of what makes this track so successful is that Noko, the vocalist of the band, sounds like an unhinged child, which makes the track sound way more unsettling. We also have the lead-up single Zensekai no Katsutomoe Kanpai, which is included in my top 50 favorite songs list last year. And the track title means Cheers to All the Scumbags, and it is a fun J-rock barn burner with a country twang. We have tracks like Shinitai Himawari, what the fuck is going on, by the way? Like, this track and so many other tracks is too noisy. It's too noisy for its own good, and it completely buried any sincerity that this album originally has. Like Shinitai Himawari, for example. It sounds like a clash between 5 different songs. It's really noisy and really chaotic, and I like noisy, but when I like noisy, it's usually the kind of noisy that has some kind of order within the chaos, sort of controlled chaos. But this track just sounds like 5 songs mashed together. There's also Yoru no Branko and Kairu no Uta, which means a frog song, and also Majiogari, which has rapping, which felt really out of place. I do, however, really like the track Saihate Field, which is a heavenly blissful track with bright layers of guitars, falsetto vocals. If you tell me the Icelandic band Siros is doing a Japanese song, I would believe you. And then we have weird moments like Ame Ame Pichan no Uta, where Noko does the voice of a constantly blabbering little girl, which really doesn't do it for me. But either way, I do really appreciate the experimentation and the unhingedness of this band, and I am giving this album a 6 out of 10. I'm so sleepy. Fourth album I'm going to talk about is the new Omilgop album, Funeral. So this is another South Korean album here, and none of the tracks on this album has more than 4,000 listens on Spotify, and the second half of the album are all like 1,000 and something listens. This is obscure. I don't know how I managed to find out about this band. I completely forgot. I follow them on Radio Music because I love following obscure Asian bands on Radio Music. He released a new album, Funeral, and yeah, the production is terrible because they are new. It sounds like the music is recorded in a cave or something. It's like the original Twin Fantasy. It gives off that vibes, but there are some really good ideas here and there. I like the album opener. It's a strange combination of cold, drony keyboards, melancholic guitars, and really washed out, reverby vocals. But aside from that, the rest of the album is pretty stale. It's pretty drab. There are some tracks that are really long, but the chord progressions remain stale. But nonetheless, very promising artists. Maybe they're going to make something really interesting from here on out. I wouldn't know. I'm giving this album a light 6 out of 10. Oh, I'm so sleepy. CameronWinter new album, Heavy Metal. This album actually came out late last year, but it's interesting because CameronWinter is the lead singer of Geese. So this album is basically country pop music. And he sounds really drunk and sloppy. And I love that. This album sounds like Ice Age, but it's American. But this album is not as groovy or as fun as Geese's music, and has more of a DIY, kind of like a stripped back edge to it, which I think has a charm to it, but doesn't necessarily make the album that much more interesting or anything. I do really like the tracks Love Takes Miles with its shaky tambourine, and saloon pianos, as well as Cancer of the Skull, which is sweet and rustic with horns and shakes. Kind of reminds me of Black Country New Road, who are, by the way, releasing a new album soon. But not a bad album. A bit forgettable maybe, but not bad at all. Strong 7 out of 10. Oh my god, I'm so sleepy. What the heck? What the heck's going on? Finally, we have a new album from Ethel Cain, Perverts. I am so sleepy, by the way. I look genuinely in physical scrutiny. So, Ethel Cain, aka Hayden Silas Anhedonia, releases a new album, Perverts, and I have never covered Ethel Cain's music on this channel, and Ethel Cain in the last couple of years have gained such a popularity that's really interesting. A lot of very progressive Gen Zers become really parasocial with Ethel Cain, and it's become one of the most, I wouldn't say notorious, but one of the most renowned fan bases in, Gen Z music since 100 Gex. So Ethel Cain releases a new album. It's 90 minutes long, and she calls it an EP, which is kind of crazy because obviously it's 90 minutes long. Why is it an EP? There are two theories. One is that it is a middle finger to her record label because her record label is forcing her to release some kind of music and she doesn't want to, so she's like, fuck it, I'll just release it, but I'll call it an EP. The second theory is that because Ethel Cain is known for lo-fi dream pop and not dark ambient, which is super different, but at the same time, she doesn't want to release it under a different name, so she decides to release it and just call it an EP. Maybe it's a mixture of these two reasons, I don't know, but it's an EP, but I'll consider it an album. But yeah, this is a dense, dark, mortifying, dark ambient album, and I love that shit. The title track is amazing, it's haunting, it's harrowing. The tracks House of Psychotic Woman, Pool Drone is over 15 minutes long. Again, people who go into the album thinking that they're gonna listen to some more nice dream pop, well, I'm sorry, but this is a dark ambient. Take your ass back to dream pop. We are going spooky out here. But yeah, these drone tracks are really long and they're relentlessly empty, and it really builds a kind of atmosphere that I just really, really like. We also have other shorter tracks like Punish, which, I want to yawn. It's a haunting gothic ballad, and we have lyrics about love and suffering, which is, it's my thing. Love and suffering and pain and torture, that's my thing. That's my man, okay? And House of Psychotic Woman, my favorite track here. I love the swirling tones and the spoken word at the end of the track. It's intimate and skin crawling. I love you. I love you. I love you. It genuinely feels psychotic. Really lives up to the title of the track. We have the track Etienne, which has these painful pianos slowly building upwards, and the album ends off with Amber Wave, which is sonically sounds like a moment of clarity and warmth, but it's still an 11-minute long ballad. Either way, this is a really interesting record. This has some amazingly dark and dense drone pieces, which I like a lot, and I'm comfortable giving this a decent 8 out of 10. So, have you listened to these albums? Comments below. Let me know, subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching. I am so tired. Oh, God.